much for tuning into this interaction with Astral Poly. They came out with numbers wherein the revenues looked okay, as would be the case compared to their standards. They have faced margin pressures, but the more important thing is how is the business environment looking like after how 2020 and 2021 have been, wherein the big businesses have prospered and flourished. Would be interesting to see if the template, according to him, is changing a bit. Mr. Hiranand Savlani joins in. Mr. Savlani, great having you. Hope all is safe.
Yes, everything is safe.
Okay. So let's talk about the numbers. When I looked at the consolidated revenues, they were up 20%, 22% if I'm not wrong, to be precise. But when I look at the sales volume, I think unless I'm wrong, it's about 4.45% lower for the pipes business at least. Can you give us the breakup between adhesives and price? And can you also tell us whether the entire growth was price-led or was there a favorable product mix?
So like two things were there. One was the price-led growth, that is true. And secondly, some product mix is also changing. I don't know whether I had communicated last time to you in my interview that whenever you are shifting your customer from PVC to CPVC, you have to lose the weight. Because the PVC, India is following the ASTM standard in which the pipe thickness is more. And in CPVC, India follow the CTS standard where the pipe thickness is low. So what happened that if any home is getting built up in which 10-meter pipe is going to be used, if they use the PVC pipe, then the weight of the PVC will be 30-35% more. If they replace this with the CPVC, the weight of the pipe will be 30% low. So if we are going to improve our product mix, then we have to sacrifice somewhere into the weight, because we want to give the right things to our customer, because in this environment, when the PVC and CPVC gap is so narrow, it is always better that we advise our customer that you go for the CPVC rather than PVC. Because CPVC anyway, the material is much, much better in terms of property than the PVC. So that is what exactly happened in this quarter, that maximum sale has taken place in CPVC. That's why you see our margins are industry highest. Even volume also, we are the highest in the industry. If you compare with the other big peer, they are 25% down, 15% volume down, 12% volume, while we are just 4% volume down. And our margins are highest in the industry. That clearly indicates that we are selling more of CPVC than the PVC.
And I think you've undertaken some price hikes as well in the CPVC space and also in the pipe segment. Is the demand and the volume growth picture looking strong? How was that in Q3 as well?
So Q3, I say that the volume growth was tepid at the industry level. There was a sizable degrowth, I can say double-digit degrowth at the industry level. So in that case, I think 4% negative is one of the best growth I can consider. And we lose the growth. I explained that because we are moving more toward the CPVC. So because of that, also we are losing the volume. Otherwise, value-wise, we don't have any problem.
Okay, just sorry, one quick follow-up. You mentioned that at the industry level, there was a sizable degrowth in Q3.
Yes.
What were the underlying reasons?
More than double-digit degrowth at the industry level in Q3.
What were the underlying reasons?
The reason was that post-Diwali, there was an extended rain, okay, across the country. Secondly, there was a construction ban in many geography of India because of pollutions and all. So north part of the India was affected heavily. Then the COVID cases started picking up. That was also and the biggest problem was that the destocking of the material from the dealer community. Because every dealer and distributor were getting the sense that the polymer price will go substantially low. So they stopped stocking the material. So because of that, it directly affected us because their inventory level went to a pathetic level. So because of that, I think industry suffered a big way. And I'm sure that once the confidence will be back in the industry, they will again restock. At that point of time, again, we will be having a good volume. But right now, a lot of fear factor is going on that the polymer price will go down. And to some extent, that fear was right also. And polymer price dropped also in the last quarter. You see, from October till today, almost 30 rupee drop is there in the PVC price. 30 rupees is a huge drop. So because of that, they restock that material, and because of that, we have to suffer the volume.
So in the first 38 days of the current quarter as well, the restocking hasn't quite started and the pricing is still low. So suffice to say, Q4 might also have some impact of the same.
Yes, definitely quarter four will be having some impact. But polymer price is very difficult to predict. Now,
Of course.
tomorrow, if the Reliance increase 2 rupee price, everybody will rush like anything. Because dealer community's mindset is very clear that whenever price goes up, they will become mad and they place the order which we have never seen in the past. So it is very, very difficult that when polymer price will go up, and now the crude is also inching up, then the high probability that the polymer price will not go down from here. That is what we are getting the sense right now. And CPVC anyway, it is going to go up only. We are going to give the further price rise in the coming time. And we already announced the further price rise from 1st of March. So because of that, I think again some volume will come back, but very, very difficult to understand the dealer's mindset. So we have to wait and watch.
Okay. Adhesives business issues, Mr. Savlani, because I mean the revenue numbers were not very impressive, if you will. And as I saw, not just the EBITDA margins, but the absolute EBITDA numbers has also gone off a little bit. So what led to this?
So, I think top line was fantastic. We cannot say that the adhesive top line was not growth. Top line was in line what we have expected. If you remember, I have communicated very clearly in the beginning of the year that this year we are targeting to be a 1,000 crore top line company in adhesive. And I think we are more or less on that line. We already completed 708 crore rupees in first 9 months, and this being a peak quarter, we are expecting that we will be close to 1,000 crores. So I don't think that adhesive side top line we are disappointing. The biggest disappointment was the margin front. The margin front, as you know, industry leaders are also suffering the same issue because continuous raw material pressure is going on. We pass on, the again price rise goes. We pass on, again the price rise goes. So we don't know where it is going to be picked. Once it will pick will be formed and then the slight reduction will start, you will see there will be a sizable improvement into the margin. And secondly, Neeraj, the biggest disappointment in the last quarter was that our UK company. Our UK company is more selling the silicone products, okay? And there was a huge short supply in the silicone. You will be surprised to know in a good time, silicone price were $2 to $3, which has gone up to $10. So you can understand the kind of inflation. After paying $10 also, you were not getting the raw material. So that was the biggest setback to our UK company. So they lost heavily and their growth was zero in the last quarter. While India operation did a fantastic, but unfortunately because of UK, our overall console number of adhesive is looking little lower. But otherwise, I don't see any problem. And now they have got the silicone, and now they have started again in a big way. So we are expecting that this quarter they should be giving us a good number. Maybe some pent-up demand will also be there. So in that case, that is why I said that we are confident that we will be close to 1,000 crore mark this year.
Is it possible to think of whether console margins would stabilize at the current levels? I mean, can you even look one quarter out, or is it difficult right now?
I think console, if you compare with the last year 9 months, I think we are more or less same. Hardly 0.5%, 1% plus minus is there. So in this kind of highly volatile environment, if you are able to maintain your console margin, I think this is a good achievement by the Astral team. So we are of the view that historically you see Q4 is always peak in the margin. Okay, because the higher volume, because Q4 generates almost 32% of the revenue of the full year. So because of that, we are of the view that economy of scale advantage will be available to us in Q4. So because of that, the margin should be better only. So console basis, we are of the view that we will be able to maintain last year's margin, should not be the problem.
Mr. Savlani, you must be a feeder into a lot of Capex related themes. This budget was all about Capex. The government Capex is already there, and select private industries are doing their own capacity expansions as well in chemicals, in pharma, in the whole ethanol stream, etc. Are you sensing some kind of a possible uptick in Capex which might benefit, or is it not visible as of now?
No. It is an excellent, I think, move by the government of India. You see the history of the India, the major chunk of our fiscal deficit went to the subsidy side. Sure. First time we are seeing the subsidy had dropped from 7 lakh crore to last year 4.13 crore, and this year close to about 3.23 or something like that crore. So sizable drop is there in the subsidy side, and on the other side, they have given the emphasis on the Capex. And when you see the Capex is taking place, I think across the board, majority of the infra companies are going to get benefit. And we are continuously starving for the growth in our infra segment of the business, which the company we acquire Rex. So we are expecting this year that has to give us a good growth, and already growth has started, and already a lot of tendering work is going on, and we already, our contractors are bidding for that, and we are getting the inquiry very, very fast pace. So that indicate that maybe 1 or 2 quarters down the line, we are going to expect a reasonably high growth in this segment. Plus, Jalsenal allocation has been increased. Pradhan Mantri Awas scheme, they already allocated 48,000 crore. And you can see all the developers' announcement of the booking number. That also clearly indicating that the ready unit inventory in India is continuously depleting. So when the ready unit stock is going to go down, then at one point of time, new construction has to take place. I am not claiming that it will immediately start, but maybe 6 months or 12 months down the line, ultimately the construction activity will start picking up. When the construction activity is going to pick up, all our product is going to sell, whether it is a pipe, whether it is a water tank, whether it is a sanitary ware, whether it is a faucet. All products are ultimately linked with the construction. So we are of the view that we are going to take the advantage, but our turn always come with some lag, and that is why we are saying that our turn will come next year, second half onward. And last time also I have communicated the same thing, that our turn normally come after 15 to 18 months down the line once the construction activity picks. I think some part of the geography we are seeing that the construction activity has already started. So that is going to support us in the coming time. One good thing, Neeraj, I can tell you that we have completed majority of our expansion activity. In all the plant, across the plant, expansion activity was going on. Whether it is a tank, whether it is a valve, whether it is the SWR product, or whether our East plant. I think majority we are going to complete. Some trial productions are going on. So I think hopefully by year end commercial production will start across the board. So the real number will start coming from next year onward from all these additional locations. And once next year everything will stabilize, the real utilization of the capacity will come in FY24. So I am very bullish on FY24 number, because by the time we will be settling down in all our locations, all our new products also, whether it is the tank, whether it is the SWR product, whether it is the sanitary ware, faucet, everywhere next year will be the launch party, I can say. 1 year will take settle down, and the real fruit will come in FY24.
And you also have the adhesives plant coming on stream by FY24.
Adhesive next year will be ready. So that advantage will also come in FY24. That plant is actually going before schedule in construction activity. So we may complete little early than what we originally foresee, that it will be completed at the end of the Q4 next year. But we may complete early also.
So what's the current average capacity utilization levels? Average, I mean, if you have
average, we are working somewhere around 60% kind of utilization, 58 to 68% kind of utilization.
And you expect a pickup in FY23, I presume?
Yes, definitely it is going to pick up.
So, Mr. Savlani, then as I summarize it, whatever happens in Q4 is fine, but if everything goes well, FY23 sees a bump up in capacity utilization levels and new plants getting commissioned. FY24 sees the benefit of all of those new plants. I guess those new plants benefit trickle into FY25 as well, maybe. So you probably, as things stand, foresee 2 or 3 years of reasonably strong growth for Astral.
Definitely, definitely. We are quite confident that we are going to deliver that good numbers.
Okay. Would it be as strong as any previous 2-3 year cycle that you would have seen? I don't know what has been the strongest 2-3 year cycle for your company, but if you would know about it, could the next 3 years be as strong as any previous cycle that you would have seen?
So yes, in volume term, definitely it will be better. But value term, it is very difficult to predict at this point of time, because we don't know how the polymer is going to behave in the coming time. If polymer maintain at the current level, then yes. But if the polymer price will go down, then there may be a little bit plus minus into the value side, but volume side, definitely it will be better. If the polymer goes up from here, then it will be I think, bonus to us.
All right. All right. Great. Mr. Savlani, one final question. It's a redundant question because I know you're cash rich and you won't need any kind of debt, but I'm just trying to understand from India Inc.'s perspective. Do you reckon the next 12 months could see an increase in the borrowing costs for companies? Most of India Inc.'s balance sheet of prime companies is delevered, so that's not a problem. I'm still trying to understand.
Yeah, definitely the borrowing cost has to go up because the way you see 10-year bond is reacting, that clear indication is that everyone is waiting for the RBI verdict. The moment this policy announcement will be there, then the people will get some sense, and from there onward, the interest rate has to go up only. There is no reason that it will go down or maybe maintain at the same level. As far as our company is concerned, I don't think any problem to us because we are not borrowing, so it is not going to affect much. So we are neutral on that side.
Okay, one final question, Mr. Savlani. What about the small and medium enterprises? If you've had issues in Q3 regarding supply chains in your UK subsidiary or pricing or dealer stock destocking, I'm sure it's impacted the smaller names as well. How do you see the rest of the unorganized or the small and medium enterprises in your space, at least, coping up with the business stress?
I think unorganized will be having a difficult time today also and tomorrow also, because the way situation is spanning out on the ground, it is really painful. You see the volatility of the polymer of 20-25% in a one single quarter, never ever been heard in the history of India. So these kind of things are suggesting that even an organized player are struggling in this environment. So where is the question of unorganized player? They don't have that kind of management. They don't have a skilled people with them to manage all these kind of volatility. So definitely it will be a tough time for them. So even a player like us, sometimes we also surprise many movements in the market. So I can understand the situation of the smaller player. It will be a tough only. And going forward, we don't see there will be any improvement into that side. It will be going to be tough only.
Got it. Okay, Mr. Savlani, great having you. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us, and all the best for the quarters ahead.
Thank you, Neeraj. Always nice speaking to you.
Lovely talking to you, viewers. Thanks for tuning in.